Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready for this? 3 days. 3 days.
So ready.
So, Carly went all the way, in air quotes, with her plan.
I love that. Yes, she did.
She went all the way, and she really has to, every time we're watching those scenes, Johnny's like, did you see her face? I'm like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this, is that it's ill for her. And whenever she gets a chance, she's going to make a gross face. And they're obvious. They're not subtle at all. And every single time she makes an obvious gross face, he's like, did you see it? And I'm like, I did. I know what's happening. It's the whole storyline. I'm following. Like, when he said, are you trying to get away from me? She's like, oh, that's your guilt talking. I'm like, wow. I mean, you could be a spy, but there's nothing like being manipulated by a woman.
But truly, he is reached the level of Drew level anger for me. Like he sees, and just the character in terms of, he is frustrating to me, but also in the way that he acts. He sees what he wants to see. He's, eating up her words because he wants this love bubble, and he is borderline obsessed with her and her daughter.
Yes. So, okay, this is what's funny, because this is disgusting. This is gross to watch. But do you know what makes it better? I don't know if this could help you, but it helps when you're looking at those scenes, listening to you talk and go, but he just wants to see what he wants to see. And but then it's pretend you're watching it through Valentine's eyes. It's being like, look, Valentine is right. So when other people are living their lives, this is the kind of stuff Valentine sees. He's like, you can literally do anything, Harley, and he's hypnotized. Go.
Exactly.
So I think if you look at it through that lens of Valentine being right, and I think maybe it's just thinking about Valentine for me. I'm not quite sure.
I was going to say.
I'm not quite sure. But I think if you just think about Valentine in general, it makes things better.
I'm going
to go with that.
I will take that advice.
Okay, I don't know if it's strong enough to help in this scene, but to me, what I refer to as the most awkward phone call, I think it's just why? Why is everyone so naked on the phone? It was weird to me. It was so weird. It was he's naked, Carly's going to take a shower, and he's like, okay, let me call her daughter. Her daughter's naked, and she's also with an agent. I was like, this is a no for me.
Yes, hard pass on a phone call right after you've done it with her mom.
And then their conversation, right? He's checking in with her. He's like, okay, so I just slept with her mom. Now I'm going to call Jocelyn. And I'm going to be like, did you do that thing where you manipulated your family? Did you do that? Did you do that thing where you got into a fight with your mom for the mission? It's just weird. It's just, I don't know what's happening. And then at one point he's like, could you make up with your mom? And I'm like, ew. What is this? What is all of this, And then I love when she asked the question, is this for the good of the world?
Well, that was such a good line.
But I love how she's constantly making fun of him, because it's you're dating her mom. How serious can she take you?
Exactly. And then you're really blurring the lines between mission and being nice to your mom.
I know. But Vaughn, there was a bit of hope there, right? Because Vaughn was kind of being look, if this ever gets too much, now I'm starting to think, yeah, that makes sense. Brennan kind of latched on to Jocelyn and threw her into the deep end, and Vaughn wouldn't stop saying from the start, 5 poppies is not exactly where we start an agent like Jocelyn. It's too much.
Yes.
And he continues to feel that way. She's still new. And the thing is, you keep putting her in these situations with people she knows. It's not like she's getting to dive in and deal with strangers.
Exactly. Like a real spy.
And he kind of offered her this ouch, I know you feel really uneasy about the whole thing with your uncle. And if it goes too far, I'll help you. So for a brief second, there was a hope. I think was it her who said this? I don't know who said it. If it was Carly or if it was Jocelyn, but this was one of my favorite lines. The path to happiness doesn't run through Windermere.
Stop. You stole my line. Is Carly.
It was Carly? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that whole thing. So speaking of Vaughn, they meet. And Johnny's like, oh my gosh, do you think he knows that they slept together? I'm like, I think he's just been watching him for a while. I think he knows. I think he's watching them for that reason. I think he's been really peculiar about the two of them between the sheets from the moment he found out. He's like, no more. No more of this.
Listen to your daddy, WSB boss.
All of it. All of it. Look, I do think at some point Vaughn will end up taking Brennan's job.
Yes.
Okay. But the thing is, it's like you're like a trained spy. Trained spy.
I
But
thought
when
you said
two
a train spy like choo-choo. I was like, wait a second. I didn't catch that.
I feel like if I were to be a spy, that's the kind of spy I'd be. I'd be like, absolutely, I'll be a trained spy. I'll let you know when they go
Well,
by.
like, it's niche, you know? Like, Joss is in this niche, be a family spy in Port Charles. I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, a train spy. I get it. Let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I'll be the only one to know when the trains go by. So
Okay,
it's
sorry.
definitely
I'm
important.
total sidetrack. Okay, back on track. Back on track.
Okay, he's a trained spy.
Choo-choo.
And then you have two men each holding a bicep, right?
Yeah.
And that was the end of Vaughn, apparently. It was like,
Yes.
oh, they're hugging my biceps with their hands. What do I
Gonna-
do?
He's going to be in the well-decorated cell beside Anna.
Speaking of Anna, because remember last week we're like, there's just no other C's. But then someone's like Cyrus. I'm like, yeah, that's a C. And then someone else was like C for Cassadine. I'm like, right, correct.
Right.
Correct. I would
Okay.
think definitely like, I mean, Cyrus is obvious because Martin brought him up this week.
Yes.
And he's also the reason Joss got pulled in. And if we're looking to maybe undo some of the damage that Brennan caused, having Cyrus be alive would be great. But also, it would kind of take away Jocelyn's first kill. I don't know how she'd feel about that.
True.
Right? Has she only killed one person?
Well, they did move that dead body. Did she shoot that guy? Or did Vaughn shoot that guy?
I think he had to finish him. She was shaky.
Oh, yeah, with the pillow.
right?
It was devastating.
Yeah, like he had to complete that.
Oh, yeah, they murdered
Anyway.
together, then slept together. Right.
Yeah, but like given the genre of villain Cyrus is, like what's he doing with bizarre experiments? Like he's not that kind of villain.
No,
he's
not.
like no science for me. Like guns, violence.
Exactly. He's
right?
like, I like things willy-nilly. No order, no reason.
He's a straight shooter. Nothing more than that. But I could see a Cassadine getting weird. Like Cassadines mess with science.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Right? So Spencer, was he like, I've survived from the France water? And then he's like, you know what I'll do next? Science and taking over the world.
That's pretty plausible.
Yeah, befriending a man named Pascal. That's where Pascal comes from.
Oh my gosh.
He's
You
French.
solved it. You solved
He's
it.
French. And Spencer's a
Yes.
Cassadine and he went missing in France.
Yes.
I feel like that's it.
We did it, guys. Podcast
Solved
over.
it.
Forever.
Yeah. So all that stuff happened. I don't
It
even remember
did?
what we were talking about.
We were talking about Vaughn disappearing, Vaughn
Yeah,
being in
for
the cell
sure.
beside Anna, and
That-
then we,
That did all happen. But also like major, the whole Rocco thing. It was pretty tough seeing him in the detention center. That was hard.
that was very hard. And like, as Dante's frustrating, but just the fact that he now has to live on the other side of this. It's one thing for Lulu to discuss this with Carly and go through that moment and relive and apologize. It's one thing for Dante to be in it. It's so interesting to see, how he's handling it, what he can and cannot say, how he's feeling about the whole thing, and also who visited Rocco and what they got to see as the day kind of progressed with all of his visits.
I feel like they eased us in with Dante. Dante's struggling, but he's also working very hard to strike a balance between being there for Gio and doing his job.
Being there for Rocco,
That's one of them.
the one he likes right now.
The one you
Rocco.
like. So Rocco,
Yeah.
the one with 2 O's, not the one with 1 O. Rocco.
Exactly.
Rocco.
Is it really that?
What? What?
Got it. No, I got it. I was just doing the spelling in my brain. On point. Continue.
I really feel that the alphabet shouldn't be such a big factor of our podcast. But we've talked about C's so far. We've talked about O's.
We talked about
I
trains. We're like ready for a kids program.
What is happening? Okay. So Dante has to kind of find that fine line of like, I'm scared, I want to support my son, but like, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm different. But Dante's trying really hard to do his job.
We're just
I
not
just-
used to it.
I just can't respect that. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Yeah.
really terrible. Like, it's one thing to kind of be on the other side of the law when it came to, like, Sonny. Like, with his dad, he was like, "Sure, I'll put you in jail any place, anytime." His brother,
Yes.
he's like, "This dude definitely committed murder. Let's go. Let's look into this further." But I feel like you should have a little bit more, like, no coppiness when it comes to your son. Like, do anything
True.
for him to get him out. But he's still Dante, and I feel like if history tells us anything, I do think that, like, and especially Sonny's visit after, there's definitely gonna be a divide, right? There's always been this wall between him and his family because of what he does. It's the reason he can't be as close as can be to his family.
Mhm.
And if you think about Rocco sitting and talking with Danny and Charlotte, they're all like, "Wasn't B&E like really fun? Didn't you guys not love that?" And they're talking about the thrill that comes with breaking the law.
I love it so much, and that's exactly it. Like, Dante thinks that Rocco is this perfect child that's being manipulated by the people around him, whereas Rocco's developing this, like, taste to the wild side.
Well, I mean, look, like, I mean, today Jason was kind of going over the family, and Lulu didn't make it
Yes.
as cool enough to have a list of cool enemies the way that, like, Britt, Valentine, her mom, and Sunny can. So
Exactly.
that's fun. That was funny to me. But, like, Sunny coming in and talking to Rocco, like, that was very interesting to me. Like, this idea of, in this situation, Monte is the threat to Rocco.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in this situation, Sonny's come in, well, he's like, "Well, your dad's a cop. Don't remember, don't forget."
I don't remember all the time, guys.
He's telling Rocco, "Don't forget, I'm Sonny, like, I'm your grandpa." I feel like it was better than that. Like, it was delivered way cooler on the show, and then Rocco is very much like, "No, no, no, I don't need your protection." I'm like, "Yeah, you do."
Yes.
And then he's like, "I don't need" what did he say? Like, "I don't need you to, like, protect me or be my shield." And then Sonny's like, "I'm not your shield, I'm your backup." And I loved how quick
Yeah.
Sonny was, because I do think there's a difference between being like a layman, so being like not in the mob, so being a layman person and feeling these basic pressures of like, I can stand up for myself, I don't need, like, I don't want a shield, I want to appear tough. But then there's the reality of like what tough is in a business where it's kill or be killed.
I
And,
love that. But he
you
also
know,
like, I love that Rocco spoke to you also that he didn't wanna, like, snitch essentially and tell Sonny who exactly it was that hurt him.
yeah, you know
Like,
what
he
I
was
mean?
really interesting the lingo and how when Rocco got back home that he sold it as, like, he looks tough, and they made fun of him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you still look like Rocco, just
Yeah.
with bruises. But yes, that was interesting, this whole idea, like you said, "I'm not gonna snitch, I can handle this." Like, he really approached it that way. And then you have the next visit, which is Brit.
Yes.
And I think it matches what Jason sort of said. You have these people that have had some kind of influence and impact in life. Again, bad influence, but you're seeing it. They have some power. Like, to have enemies, you have to have some level of power in a way or influence because you can see Britt having an influence on the guard, Sunny having an influence on a guard, and then Lulu visits.
I know. Because before because, like, we go right to the Lulu, right? Because it's such a beautiful stark comparison to Brit. Brit's taking care of her. Brit took charge. Everything that you said wrapped up beautifully in a bow. And then the guard's like, "Who's that? Like, your mom?" And he had a little
Yeah.
smirk, like, it was really cute. Like, he didn't have to reassure Brit. He did a little bit, but he also apologized and really stood his own ground. Whereas when Lulu came in, the whole
Yeah.
energy, the whole vibe changes.
Okay, so exactly what you're saying. So he did tell the guard yes, and then change his answer.
Yes.
He didn't immediately say, "No, it's not." He kinda liked that idea because in that moment, he was cared for. And
Yeah.
yes, it's a similar level, right? The way he tried to reassure Britt is on par with the way he tried to reassure Sunny. But
Mhm.
yeah, the tone was different. So, like, when Nathan had showed up to her house to grab her, I'm like, "Wait, why is he doing that?" Because at this point, we've already seen Rocco's visits. We know he's hurt. And we're thinking, for me, I was like, "Nathan is gonna take her to this? I don't know." Like, that's
Mhm.
hard because if you're gonna show up like that, like, I think back to those scenes where Jason tells Carly, "You cannot break down. Michael
Yes.
cannot be scared, and you have to show, like, a brave face." And so when she showed up, I was like, "Okay, so she didn't, she didn't put on the face. She didn't act like sturdy in the way that Brit was sturdy. She was visibly shaken. Again, it's a reasonable reaction, but we all saw it. Rocco felt the need to reassure her.
Exactly. It's that whole switch in dynamics.
Yes, so you're kind of seeing the dynamic that has led Rocco and Charlotte to rely on each other, basically,
Yes. Oh my
and pull
gosh,
away
yes.
a little bit from Lulu and feel the need to like protect and hide things from her. But the Nathan of it all for me, okay? So
Tell
like
me.
so he, he gets wind of this and he takes Lulu. He's like, Rocco needs you. He's taking this role very seriously to like care for Rocco. And then, like, at one point when they're visiting, he kind of says something like, oh, because of all of his connections, like, he can't stay here, you know? And when Nathan is saying this to Lulu, I'm like, okay, like, thanks for the info, but what are you going to do about that? The concept
Yes.
that he's connected to like Sunny, Dante, Laura, like all of his connections. And then when he like actually acts on it and is like, I'm taking him, I'm like, what?
Whoa.
You walked in and as a cop is gonna be like, I'm gonna take it with me? Like, I mean, trust me, if Chase thought of it, he would have done it for Willow.
100%.
He was like, she's coming with me, and if you have a problem, tell the commissioner. And then they're like, the commissioner says to sit down, okay, and get back to work
Right.
and leave Willow where she is. So yeah, he like literally pulls Rocco out of there. I mean, that's a really huge gesture to be grateful for.
Yeah, she has sparkly eyes all over him.
Like, what? And then at the
Yeah.
station, like the looks, the thank you, and they have like a bond right now, you know?
Mhm.
Like Dante is in a place, right? He kind of messed things up with Gio. He's, he can't fully handle the Rocco situation because of his role, because of his job. So a lot of walking Rocco through this, it's more Lulu stepping in as a civilian, kind of handling it. But
True.
like, yeah, and Dante's not aware that like her approach to dealing with Rocco has a lot to do with Nathan's influence.
Yeah, it's kinda wild.
And for me, I just think like for a guy like Nathan, if he can rein Nina in and he was with a Maxi, like being with someone like Lulu would be a cinch.
He would get bored real fast, though.
You think? I mean, I am, but would he?
Yeah, I think he would, bonded by trauma and this whole hero complex thing, it burns out, like, when he gets to see the real her, and if she hasn't taken to adjusting to life,
He
that's gonna
loves
be hard to.
Nina. Right? Like, Nina
Oh
has
my
done
gosh, so
nothing
true.
to push this man away. Like, his mom is Obrecht. Honestly, what can Lulu do that would make him go, oh, right? He's like a version of a Jason when it comes to Carly, but he's that with like many women in his life. Jason has one Carly, right? He has one person that he kind of like handles like that. Nathan has had many. And I think that, like, could you just imagine the drama? Okay. Maxie wakes up from her coma, learns that Nathan is alive, and even though her and Lulu moved past it, she had blamed Lulu. So now Nathan wakes up and he's like, I am very much dating her. And we kiss sometimes because we were both in comas. And I absolutely don't believe she was responsible for my first death.
I love that you said my first death.
What does one do? What does one do with that?
I literally don't know, like, as it is, she feels even though she tried to defend Lulu, she knows who she really is and what she's truly capable of, so this would really push her over the edge, I think.
Do you think, right? Because pre-coma, she was trying to manage her in Brooklyn. Post-coma, like now she has zero reason, like you pointed out, to kind of like go easy on her because now it's happening directly to her.
Exactly, and, like, she can finally see Lulu for her true colors, me thinking of herself and not thinking of the repercussions of her actions, or she could say, "Well, you were in a coma, guys, life moves on."
But that's the thing of all the things for Lulu to do. Even when I'm looking at this, it's like, is she doing the worst? Not really. You know what I mean? Like, not
Yeah.
intentionally. Like, we see where it could be going, but I mean, this girl came back into a world, like, who could really relate to her? I mean, maybe her mom. She was catatonic for a while. But you have like Nathan coming back who literally experienced the same thing. He is supporting her with Rocco. Rocco ties Nathan's family to Lulu, right?
Ooh, so could you
There's
imagine that family dinner? Lulu dating Nathan with Britt and Nina and Obrick and Rocco.
right? So I'm just saying, like, of all the things, like seeing Lulu for who she really is, it kind of depends on where Lulu's going. Like, her most vile, agitating behavior happened with the Brooklyn storyline.
Yes.
And then when it comes to the Brit thing, it's just funny, right? It's karma. You know, like Brit's not being fair. She's being really extreme, but because of everything Lulu did, it's hard to feel bad. So to be honest, it's like if Maxie wakes up, she might have the past Lulu in her mind that might remind her of how she felt about Lulu soon after Nathan died. But to be fair, and I'm not necessarily being like I'm not a huge Lulu fan, but she's
Mhm.
not necessarily being full Lulu.
True, true.
So
Oh my
that's so
gosh.
that's really interesting because, like, right now nothing dramatic is happening, but now you have Nathan and Dante working really closely together. And then it's like, I was thinking about dating your ex-wife.
No, but it's kind of really good. Like, I'm loving everything that you're laying out for this new storyline.
And then Dante's gonna be like, you know what, bud? That's okay. I support you because he in the background is probably gonna be hooking up with Brooklyn because today we got the first teaser of the possible friction, you know, like Chase's viewpoint on Willow came out.
And do you remember I'm Your Wife?
He remembered then. Because when she started talking about Michael, he was like, wait a second, I remember this before. I was with Willow and then Michael swooped. I know Michael's your cousin, but I realize right now that I should be more present because I wasn't, and Michael supported you around this super big thing while I've been obsessed with Willow. And it's like, do you think he felt dumb? For Chase, he's sacrificing his marriage and his relationship and time with her to kind of protect and defend Willow. But then you have Willow literally throwing everything, caution to the wind, actual people, her self respect, all of it to be with Drew all the time. Like, it's weird. Like, I wonder if he's starting to feel a type of way about it knowing that she's with Drew now.
I don't know. I think he's gonna try to save her harder.
I mean, I think definitely because there has to be a larger fracture. Like something significant happened for Brooklyn and Chase kind of missed it. Like I think it's kind of strange that you're having a conversation about cooking and you never got around to tell him that the son you didn't know was your son who you've been estranged from and is angry with you said called you mom.
That is wildly messed up. Like, I almost think that Chase will try to break up, like, show up on their wedding day.
That would be weird. that would be
Right?
That would be so weird. I think if anything, it has to do with like him. It's the loyalty thing, right? Like at first, I felt like, does Chase realize that maybe he needs to kind of like reconnect with his family? Because he's like, I want to cook. Your family's been through a lot. But when Michael came in and they started arguing, and I love what Michael said is like, we shouldn't cook together. There's so many knives. But the truth is, Chase lied. He said, I believe in Willow and I'm investigating all other, you know, options, and that just
Mm,
happens to include you, but it's not true. He's zeroing in on Michael at the same degree that Drew is.
yes. My gosh.
Like like that was a lie. I haven't heard Chase look into anyone else.
Dante's looking into somebody else.
Dante is, but I think that was definitely set up on purpose, right? Like this idea that Chase is blinded and he can't see it,
Yes.
right? And I love that Michael called him out on that. He really thinks that Willow is his damsel in distress and won't like recognize that she is making bad choices. Chase can't accept that Willow isn't the woman you once knew. And sure, it may still mean that she's innocent though, right? And I think that's also it, like yes, she might have changed, but at the same time, like the evidence is there and he's not willing to kind of even entertain the idea that she did. And even when like Brooklyn said she could be choosing to marry Drew to make herself look more innocent. And it's just kind of insane to me. So I think it's just showing that like that's definitely going to be a divide, right? Like Chase is going to do something to kind of make things even worse between him and Michael and basically put on display the fact that he was disloyal to the family and not just disloyal to Michael, but disloyal to Brooklyn. I think we're gonna see him dig a deeper hole in that way.
I think so too, and it's so fascinating because like you said, she's made her choices and just kind of going on her own path. And there's this one person who's sacrificing anything. Like she hasn't talked to him or seen him since she got out of prison. He went to
No.
visit her. He told her he was working on his case. So just this whole like disproportionate sacrifice and who she is as a person, like I love how that's coming to light. Like that whole conversation with
Obrecht?
Willow and Obrecht.
Mhm.
What an interesting multi-layered conversation because they both are really bad at forgiveness and family. And to have that conversation with the two of them and what one wants versus what one's willing to do was fascinating, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about
Well, first of all, when Obrecht was having that dinner or whatever with Nina at the Port Charles Grill, Obrecht makes a comment. I don't know how she could be doing this, constantly going back to him no matter what. And in that moment, while I feel the same way about Willow, I thought it was an interesting statement coming from Obrecht, given her history with Faison. No matter what that man did, she
Yes.
sacrificed everything, including her own kids, for him. Like,
Yes.
and I mean, that is very similar to, like, what Willow is doing right now.
Mhm.
But there is a nuance to it, right? I think there's a lot we don't necessarily know and that they have not shown us about Willow. So there is that reality that Obrecht can understand what it's like to be in that kind of space, but it did not come up when she went to go confront Willow. And it was interesting to see, like, Obrecht's take. Like, Obrecht felt that, like, Nina sucks because she's like, "You should accept your role in this. You gave her an alibi and you didn't stick to it. You betrayed her." And I'm like, "What?" Because it's like we saw the fact that they had evidence to contradict Nina. Like,
Yes.
doubling down would not have done anything, but it was so interesting that to Obrecht, she's like, "You threw your daughter under the bus. Like, you did bad in the whole alibi department." And so that was interesting. And even the comment she made to Nina when she found out that Nina kind of threw Portia under the bus. And Lisa was like, "I don't know if it's more dangerous to be your friend or your family."
That was another one of my favorite lines. Obrecht is so good. Like, I love when she's on an episode.
Right? So that was like watching her interesting take there, me thinking about Obrecht's history with Faison, and then she shows up to talk to Willow. She chooses not to go the route of criticizing her, but the route of forgiveness. The thing that was driving me insane when they were at Willow's is this
Mhm.
constant thing. Well, she messes up, asks for forgiveness, messes up, asks for forgiveness. And then Obrecht chooses to use Willow as the example, being like, "Well, what about you? You're being a petulant child. Yes, your mom like screws up, but so do you, except when you do it, she sticks around. And when your mom does it, you act like she's disposable." But what nobody is saying is
Yes,
that
thank you.
not the
Say it.
foundation of
Preach.
her relationship with Drew. What do
Exactly.
you mean?
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I kept thinking about.
Not a soul was pointing that out. What I found hilarious when Willow walked in, I mean, it wasn't funny, it was actually pretty disturbing when she walked in to Drew's house and, like, Elizabeth was the one to kind of share that news with Michael. I find that it's an interesting role that Elizabeth's been playing this week. She was supporting Lucas. So basically trying to make sure that Lucas didn't alienate himself from his family. And then you have the Michael element where he's supporting Michael too. So I thought it was sort of interesting the way that she was supporting Carly and Michael's family, just like from a distance and in her
Yeah.
own way. But when it comes to Willow, when they showed her coming back into Drew's house, like, I'm sorry, if I combine her face when she met with Alexis and when she was testing out her story and her face at Drew's, I'm like, this woman shot him. Like,
Oh, yeah,
she
100%.
she did it. Like, she tiptoes in there, the way she's looking around, the way she looks at him. But then it gets so bizarre, the like tone deaf conversation being had. She's standing there, like utterly traumatized. And I do not think she's traumatized because, oh, this is where Drew was shot. She's traumatized because she's like, this is where I shot you. And also the other things that break her heart, like, this is where, I lost my kids. Like, we briefly had a happy life. We briefly lived in a fantasy land where Michael didn't exist and it was just us with our blended family. But then while she's sitting there, like literally in her trauma on trial for murder and talking in such a heavy tone, he just goes, "But all of our dreams can still come true." I was just like, what is going on? And then when he gets down to propose, like, I mean, for me, I'm just thinking this is so hilarious. This man is getting down on bended knee, the same place he was lying flat on his face when Willow shot him, to
Yikes.
propose to this woman with the ring her ex-husband gave her. And I think for me, what I found the most entertaining, so many things were going through my mind. One, I was just picturing her, showing off the ring to her girlfriend and having to explain this story. And then the fact that they even gave us the beauty of that moment later on, amazing.
Yes,
But
yes.
also watching Drew so desperate for the status. He's like, "I'm tired of being a mistress, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. I really want to be a husband. I don't want to be your piece on the side anymore." And then Willow's like, I've been married before." I find that so ironic, right? he has an affair with a married woman, and she is not necessarily interested in getting married, and I love that. She's like, "If I get married, I want it to be, like, for real, like, because I want to, like, because of good circumstance." It was the words that she used, and watching Drew's face be crushed, like only a mistress's face can be crushed, was amazing. He definitely fulfilled that whole idea of a mistress, right? But like a real mistress, he was persistent. He's like, "I'm not gonna take this lying down. I'm getting that ring on my finger."
Not gonna take it lying down anymore.
No, no. So I thought that I think for me, it was so fun watching Drew through that lens and how desperate he was to get a ring on his finger. But even like the fact that she even allowed herself to be proposed to with her ex-husband's ring is beyond me. Beyond me. You can call that thing a family heirloom, but haven't you already gotten enough from that family?
Oh, but, like, I cannot. Like, I'm marrying my ex-husband's uncle with, like, my old ring. It is the best day ever, guys.
Like, I find it so funny, like, how she goes from, like, serious to, like, he's proposing, and then she questions it, and then as usual, she gets talked into it, and then after watching that, she shows up to GH with, like, with confidence? What do you mean? That was such a bizarre exchange, and even when he was saying it's gonna be small, me, you, and Scout, and she's like, "Well, our guest list's gonna be very small." I'm like, "I think it ended right there." Like, who else? But they're scraping some people together, and she goes to the hospital. It was so weird watching her in those scenes and then showing up to Elizabeth doing the whole, "I get out." She actually showed her finger. She
I
showed her
cannot.
finger. And I was like, "What do you want people to say? Oh, you put it back on. Okay, hun. You all right?" Like, what?
It's completely bonkers, but I love how you explained, broke down Drew's excitement towards, like, putting a ring on it and no longer being the mistress because that was the vibe. Like, that makes this scene make much more sense when he, like, goes to the table to see, like, Nina and Obrecht and excitedly invites
Yes.
them to the wedding. So, like, now that scene makes far more sense.
Yes. It's like, when you wanna be accepted by the other wives, you're like, "I told you so. I told you she'd marry me." And to be honest, I just kept thinking he wanted to be shot again. Like, the way he approached those women, I was like, he 100% wants to be shot again. And this is what
Mhm.
what fascinates me about Drew. He's convinced that Curtis shot him, and so he's like, "Curtis totally shot me, but what I'm gonna do is," and he's capable of it, right? He's capable of shooting me and walking around like nothing happened, but I think I'm gonna threaten his aunt to his face. Wahahaha. Like, what?
But I absolutely love the chaos in his eyes when he thinks he's doing something fantastic.
This man shot you to your knowledge, you're like, "He definitely shot me twice in the back." Whatevs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fully confident this man won't do it again. It's so crazy to me.
It's completely chaotic, and I loved what is it when I think, like, right in that scene too is when he asks Martin to be his, officiant?
Officiant, yeah.
But I love Martin's response. He said, "I assume I'd be honored."
I know, I was like, "Where
The
is that
best.
sentence
I
gonna
know.
land?"
A normal human would be happy, but I'm not.
I know, he's like, "I know I should be, but this is insane." And so another thing that shocked me was Nina when she says, "I really wanna keep Portia as a really good friend." So
Well, but,
that
like,
threw me. I'm like, "What? Like, on what planet? You're talking about how you feel bad, that you somewhat pointed the direction at Portia, but that she really means a lot to you, and you wanna keep her as a friend." And now in my mind, I'm like, "Well, we've seen Portia when she hits her limit and what she's gotta say." And I'm thinking, like, wait till Portia finds out, but, like, I didn't really anticipate that she'd find out so quickly. But I loved Ava walking through what led her to tell Portia, because it's like, Nina, like, you wanna protect your daughter, but, like, you know that Ava considers Trina a daughter, and anything that could negatively impact Trina, she's gonna try to protect her and her family.
it's also convoluted and messy. I love it so much because think about Nina's perspective. She cut a baby out of Eva, and now
Yeah.
they are besties. So the fact that she might turn Portia in is like little baby problems. No
That
pun
is
intended.
true, though. That is true. She's probably like, "Curtis outed my affair to my daughter on her wedding day, and
Exactly.
I'm okay with that, so then Portia should be okay with that."
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair, but I also can't wait for Portia to get her hands on Nina.
I know. That's gonna be
But she
fun.
but she also made that statement, right? Because if I'm forced to give out my alibi because she actually has one, unlike Curtis, so if the fact that Drew is holding something over her head, like, at the end of the day, I'm sure they're gonna push to find out what it is, but it just amplifies Curtis's motive.
Exactly. It's really interesting.
So, oh my gosh, that's the thing. Like, Curtis could end up in more legal trouble after she has declared that she does have an alibi, and it's Isaiah.
It's wild. I love it. And then he's like, I do feel bad that he's sharing that picture with Stella and he's so in love with this idea of a baby. And like the more
I
they say
know.
that, the more you know it is most definitely not his.
Okay, so I thought of another thing too to mess with Curtis, right? Because the whole idea is I missed out on a baby. So, like, the opposite of that is getting to bond with a baby that's not yours.
Okay. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Like, it's bad to be deprived from your child and not get to raise her, but then get to raise one and be like, it's not yours. Like, because I
Talk about
definitely think,
being traumatized.
yeah, like, I definitely think they're going to do Curtis that way. But you know what? Something occurred to me that makes me understand Curtis, but I don't want
Did
to be like
something
compassionate though. But there
did
is something
something
that I realized.
occur
Something occurred to me. I love that. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I'm going to be using that all the time. Something occurred to me. So remember, his dad died in air quotes,
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
then his mom died. So
Mhm.
then because of all of that, he gets really scared and tries to control everything. And
Yes.
so even though he's being really weird and self-righteous, ultimately what Curtis does with people is that he could tries to control everything so everything feels safe and okay, and he creates situations where he leaves before they can leave him.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, you made him
See?
human.
I don't wanna be
Damn it.
empathetic toward him. I rather would just, make fun of his chaos, but I'm starting to think that it's like, there's more beneath the surface, right? Like, the way he acts on the surface, I can't help but judge that all the time, but when I take a step back and look at his past and how he acts, I mean, yeah, he basically takes the easy way out. He creates this chaos so that he leaves and nobody leaves him again.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Yeah. Back to fun stuff, okay?
Okay,
Watching
okay.
Laura navigate this. Like, girl, this cannot be your first cover up. I know one of those cover ups led you to being catatonic, but I feel like you've
Oh, right,
grown
right.
so much since then. And you can handle this, okay?
I love watching the 101 mob scene, the your song, oh my gosh, I laughed so hard with that song because, the PCPD is no body, you are incriminated for a crime, and Sunny is no body, no crime.
It's what it should be. But honestly, the moment Sunny said that to her, the moment Sunny said, no body, no crime, I was gone for the rest of the episode. I'm like, body, no crime. I just couldn't stop. Like, I just started singing it on the couch and Johnny starts laughing. And I'm like, I have to work this in, but I didn't know where. But then when the
Yes.
episode was like later and like Dante walks in, he's like, Laura, Walton's missing. And she goes, I'm like, that's the perfect
Yes.
spot to put that. No, that was so funny to me. And like also the Lulu of it all, when she's like, Lulu, she's still self-righteous, right? She's not as bad as she was when she was dealing with Brooklyn, but she looks at Jason because she wants to be in the know, right? Like, because Jason's talking about a pretty cool crowd. Your mom, Sunny, Britt,
Right?
Valentine, me, this guy, we're a cool bunch. And she's trying to be in on that. Like, I'm cool too. And then she's like, it was Sunny, wasn't it? He's like, no, no, like, thinking she knows. It'd be so funny, right? If, like, she's putting pressure on finding this man, I don't know. But watching Laura, navigate, like, Dante coming in and when she opens the door because the kids are coming in to do their statement and talking about Dalton. And later when she talked about it with Jason, made me laugh. That was so funny. She starts talking about Dalton and then Jason starts acting like he's a magician and talking like one too. He's like, "He is nowhere." And I'm like, "Ta-da." Like, what? It was just the whole thing was so funny.
There was so
Total
much
magician
acting.
vibes.
He did, and then even when Lou was talking to him, he made, like, a weird
Yes,
expression. I was like, "What is this face?"
yes. It's like, I don't know how he survived this long keeping secrets, but I feel like Jason's at the end of his
Right?
rope. He's like, "I have kept so many secrets, and these
They're
ones,
coming out of my face
honey."
now.
Yeah, they're coming out of his face, but, like, that was ridiculous. Like, I used to believe in Charlotte, and I don't believe in her anymore
No,
because
I
we
know.
thought she'd be so good at this, and, like, her
She went
whole thing of
soft.
yeah, the whole thing about lying, like, where is that little girl I used to know, you know? Like, she terrorized Anna like the best of them.
She really did, though. She was quite scary.
Where's that girl? And so now they're going through their statements, and I'm like, I was so grateful that the kids ran through their statements with a lawyer, with Laura and Jason present before just showing up to the police station. I don't know why, like, Jason didn't communicate that to Lulu. I thought he was going to say that because he was like, we should delay their statements. And she's like, yeah, because the Dalton thing. No, because the kids are going to lie, and it's not believable. Like, the moment Danny said
Mhm.
it, then he punched Rocco. I was like, oh my God, you kids are
Boy.
ridiculous. You literally make the lie and then you walked the grown-ups in the room through the rationale for the lie. And then this will get him off. And then if we tell Dalton that we saw about the punch, he's gonna be so scared and then everyone's gonna go free. I was like, no. It was watching everyone's face. They're like, let's just leave the room. And I loved the moment they walked out. They're like, no, they're lying and this is terrible. And I like that, Alexis tried. She's like, we listened. We gave you a chance. We walked outside even to make fun of you behind your backs. And I
Exactly.
like that she walked back in and was like, listen, nobody believes you. This is stupid. You're all gonna go to jail.
I love it. I
No.
love it.
I realize she's related to both Danny and Charlotte.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. That was funny to me. Lots of funny shenanigans.
One scary shenanigan was that
What? Jen's.
Jen's was
Yeah.
yeah, like, I was, like, all about his shenanigans last week, and then he went back to super scary this week, and I don't like it.
Okay, so him, first of all, the fact that he even allowed like Ava in on the fact that he is somehow connected to Dalton and very informed of Rocco Falconeri's case. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
he chose to let that out. And then when I was like, this man got so mad about the whole Rocco thing. Oh no, no, not Rocco. This man got so mad about the Marco thing. Like literally,
Yes.
Marco was like barely taken. This man tried to blow up Michael. He tried to set Christina's restaurant on fire. And now he went after Rocco. And I want
Yes.
to slap Lucas. Like when I realized that, the only thing I wanted to do was slap Lucas. I mean,
I
like,
love
look at
that.
this man. You and Marco are like, boo-hoo, it's so unfair. You don't know. Like, you just don't
You
know.
don't.
Like, I like massive gold star for Elizabeth because I appreciated how she handled that. This girl already had to deal with a Willow in her house. And now she gotta
Mhm.
listen to Lucas be a little off his rocker there. But I like that she highlighted some important points. Like you could support Marco, but you don't have to like dive into Marco's issues with him and be
Loved
careful
it.
not to isolate from your own family. So I definitely loved the advice that she gave him.
Yeah, Elizabeth dropped a lot of wisdom this week and hid a
Yeah.
lot of her feelings as well.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like she understood where Michael was coming from when she heard that side, but when she kept going like, "I think she's just really in love," and I'm like, "Come on,
Come
Elizabeth."
on. Exactly.
No,
No, she cuckoo bananas. Oh my gosh, did we talk about all the things that cover all the stuff? Oh
we
my
did
gosh,
it.
we did, and I do have a funny line
Mhm.
because we both gave away like, we both had
Yes,
the same
yes.
ones earlier, but in the criming scene with Laura and Sunny,
Yeah.
he's like, "How's your car?" She's like, "It's fine." She's like, "But I didn't look in the trunk." And he said, "It's your trunk. You could do whatever you want." I was
That's a
like, "What is happening?"
so it's a very weird conversation. But I love them, like, colluding like that, and to be honest, like, I understand, like, Martin being upset, but to be honest, like, this is one of those times where history matters, like, we talked about history matters with Britt and
Yes.
Jason and Carly last time. I think in this moment, it's like you have Martin being, like, outraged and comparing, Sunny to Cyrus, but the truth is, like, literally, she's known Sunny most of her life. Like, there's just no influence there. Like, I'm sorry, but Martin doesn't have much of a leg to stand on to kinda jump
No.
into her life at this stage, see the parts that he doesn't like, that he feels mostly aligns with Cyrus. Like, she cannot erase the history in every other interaction, Like, so that part, I'm like, "Yeah, that's gonna be tough," because Laura's just getting in deeper at this point.
Exactly. My gosh, did you have any other favorite lines?
No, I think I ran through all my favorite lines, just like a lot of gold stars. It was really good this week. So, like, gold star to Rocco, great scenes. Gold
Yes.
star to like the Brit visit, the Sunny conversation.
Everybody gets a gold star except for Drew and Brennan.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Willow. and,
And
and
Willow.
Chase. And Chase.
And Chase, he gets a
Yeah.
-5.
Yeah.
What is your cutie pie moment of the week?
My cutie pie moment of the week. Should it be Willow and Nina making peace? Is there something better?
Ooh, there is something better.
Please. please.
The crime trio reunited.
Yeah, they were so cute. That's gonna be my cutie pie moment. So the Cutie Pie coloring book available on Amazon. The link to it is on our Instagram page, and you can check out the Instagram handle too if you want to have a look-see at the pages and some of the videos we made. It's at Cutie Pie Coloring.
We also have a little announcement. Ash has a life, so there
Yeah.
won't be a podcast next week.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your week, your Christmas party. That's a wrap. Have a
Bye.